Five, four, three, two, one, and we're back.
We are back, long overdue. It's been a long time.
I think the last time we were on air together doing a show format
Was in the tent.
was at the tent prior to the start of the season. So
Wow.
it's been a long time.
And now in that show, because we want to go Rishon, right? So really, it's not Rishon, not first. We're going to start last because they were in last.
Yeah.
The two teams that didn't make the playoffs. Before the season, you chose Michael Cohen's Tomahawks not to make the playoffs. Round of applause for yourself. Well, I chose the Masai Warriors not to make the playoffs. For me, Yaakov Soria, that's right. He was making fun of me. Just to go in, I believe the rhetoric and the talk around the league and the fans, the Masai Warriors had a higher ceiling.
Yeah, their team, they had guys, JT not being available early in the season hurt them.
Ralph Hannon,
Ralph, his availability in general hurts them.
he became a world traveler on us.
Yep, and Yaakov Saruya being half in, half out during the season didn't help them.
Weird.
And that combination of three derailed that team.
Yeah, Shimmy offensively lost. I don't want to say he lost a step, but he's in a little bit of a slump. But it's a slump that carried through. He's got to step it up. So a lot of things that just didn't
pan out for them.
Yeah, it didn't mesh for them, and it wound up them being in last.
Dead last,
You know.
and it was a tough season.
Yeah.
However, they were alive going into the final week of the season.
Final day of the season.
So that being said, as much as we're talking about last place, they easily could be a team in the semifinals right now.
True, and if they were in it, they'd be a force to be reckoned with their lineup, with their big bats. Yaakov Saruya still hit. They had guys that could play.
They were a pretty good squad. However, I think that's the last we're going to mention of the Masai Warriors for the betterment of us, for the betterment of the audience at home, and obviously for the betterment of the Warriors themselves.
So sayonara Masai. Okay. Now on to the Tomahawks. Now that was a different. I chose them to actually get into the playoffs, and I was proven wrong.
Now, listen, their team, we saw the first few weeks defensively, they were pretty okay. They weren't bad, but over the course of the weeks, their lineup caught up with them. They weren't deep enough. They didn't have a backup plan at starting pitcher. They didn't have
that was the biggest problem.
MC not being in center field for whatever reason. He decides to do that. It hurts them.
Definitely hurt them because they have a good shortstop, two shortstops on the team. Jackie Sutton's gold at third, but he could handle it at short.
Listen, at the end of the day,
Nuni.
and draft night, MC went all in on Bill, and Bill was a disappointment this year.
You know, it's interesting. Draft night, Sammy himself, whose brother-in-law with Bill, which is why he's called Bill, said Bill's not so dying to play. You said it.
He wasn't so
And we
involved.
didn't believe you because Michael's like, I'm doing this. I need him. And you were like, I don't understand why.
I spoke to him on Shabbat 2 days before the
And
draft.
you ended up being right because he wasn't all invested. And by the way, there's something about not playing well, and there's something about not being invested. He didn't seem invested, and he put all his eggs into that basket, and he lost out on Melech.
Right, it hurt his team, it hurt his camaraderie.
Big time.
Listen, they also could have made the playoffs just like the Warriors.
Yeah.
However, I believe, and I'm pretty sure you're on the same page as I, but the two worst teams in the league didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's how it worked out. Now, it's interesting. Michael Levy, early in the season, showed me that he could be a pitcher.
Yeah.
That he had the heat and the guile that he could be good. But it didn't pan. He got hit too hard, too often.
And then he lost the strike zone for a while.
So
it was over.
Yeah, he's going to have to go back and dig a little deeper because out of all the pitchers, he was the last taken, and it was for good reason. Michael Cohen, as you mentioned, he's not even like he took the wrong players.
Right.
Nuni could play short. Jackie Sutton could play short.
He had a formula on his team, and he opted not to use the right
put
formula.
himself at short. And the good thing that came out of it, he knows he belongs in center. Michael is a 30-year-old man who's going to end up in center for at least the next 5-7 years.
And a good of this also is we learned that MC is not really captain material going forward.
So everybody knew that but us. Well, we really did know that, but we liked the entertainment and the craziness, but not worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Hatati, aviti, pachati.
Either way,
we love you, Mike. be in the first round.
One last farewell to the Warriors. One last farewell to the Tomahawks. Now
Last thing for the Tomahawks. They did hit much better than all of us thought they were going to hit. They put up a lot of runs.
Yeah, you know, guys like JoJo Cohen showed
Yes.
he's a ball player.
Isaac Cohen.
Isaac and Morty Grazzi. They had guys at the end of their lineup that were hitting, and that was actually helping their big guys.
It's true.
So either way,
Nooney coming through as a better hitter. Jackie becoming a better hitter.
Yeah.
So they had offense, just their pitching and defense ended up not working. And that's it. They're done.
Now, so last night, the wild card matchup was played. The 4 versus the 5, and there was a bunch of tie-break scenarios that didn't end up coming into play, and it ended up giving us the Estes Bowl. We had the 2 Esteses captained by Ray Estes, Relax, taking on Titletown Sammy Estes.
It was a fun matchup. Now, we always talk about the 9-inning game being wild and crazy. It wasn't so wild and crazy, but the final score, without watching highlights, makes you think Titletown took this thing away.
Which was obviously not the case. It was 2-all in the 7th.
2-1. Relax made it 2-2 on a Elliott Mann opposite field hit. Elliott Mann had some big hits this season for that Relax team. Tied it up at 2 in the 7th.
It's funny, Elliott Mann had an interesting year because he gave away a lot of runs also defensively when they put him at second base.
Yeah,
and
second and or he could play the outfield well. Then at the end, he scuffled the tat in the outfield. He did show everybody, if you didn't know, he had a great arm.
Yes.
Elliott has a great arm in the outfield. The little guy who throws it across the diamond really well. But he's an outfielder. They put him at second because they had to. And he's a team player who's willing to do whatever it takes. You guys, if you need me there, I'll do it.
But the storyline going into last night's matchup, aside from the brothers going mano a mano,
Eddie,
was the battle of the Eddies.
that's right, the 2 Eddies. Eddie Harari, Eddie Nissim.
Eddie Nissim. And we did the prediction show. I mean, I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but we did the prediction show saying that there's a clear pitching advantage for Relax, which is Eddie Harari. And Eddie Nissim took that personal.
Yeah, now Eddie Nissim did tell you that Eddie Nissim did tell you earlier that, Sammy, you saw me the first couple of weeks, and you weren't at the field by his games the last 3. I was
which
the one at that.
is fair.
And he really did get much
But
better.
even if he did, you still got to give the pitching nod to Eddie Harari.
Yeah, he's played in more leagues.
And that's why we're going to give all the credit in the world right now to Eddie Nissim.
Correct.
He came out there through 9 innings of 2-run ball, and that's nothing to sneeze at in a playoff game.
You know, and guys are saying, oh, there was a lot of pitches to hit. They didn't hit them. I hate hearing that. You got to give credit where it's due.
When outs are gotten, they're gotten.
That's it. You got it. And was it a million line drives caught right at guys? I don't think so.
No.
So you had guys off balance.
I watched the entire live today.
I watched the highlights. I watched some of it live. It's funny. I asked also a few guys, was there a clear-cut offensive star?
There were a few big hitters. I think David Harari had a big night. Mocas had a big night.
Mocas, I think, had the biggest hit, and Sol Estes was the catalyst.
Yeah, but look, DH, I think, put the game out of reach.
Yeah, he made it from like 2 runs or 3 runs to 5.
He also had an RBI before that, so...
Oh, good. Nice. David Harari. What a jerk.
It's just ass. Really, jackass.
Tape. Can't get over that. Either way, they're a team that were 1-5. So both these teams were scuffling early, and that's really what got them to the wild card. But the Titletown team was 1-5. People, I'm going to go back to draft night. We brought it up before. People questioned and scratched their heads at Sammy Estes's Morris Casson pick.
Right.
They thought he picked him too early. Morris himself says he was taken too early, and Sammy will go out and on the top of the mountain say, no way, I'm proud of that pick. Morris brings things to a team, and he did it again last night, and he got the big hit, but not just offensively. He helps bring the team together.
So you weren't able to watch this on the highlights that I made, but if you watched it live, he was the rah-rah. That guy that we always see, he was back.
So Mocas in full swing, and now just like that, Titletown with the hot pitching Eddie Nissim, with Melech, who has a knack of doing big things in the playoffs.
A motivated Titletown squad.
Yes.
We have
Nutty.
guys, Nutty, who looks giving him a new life.
Yeah,
we
now
have.
Nutty has a chance.
Let's see what happens with Sammy Soria. But even if they don't have Sammy Soria,
They got Nunny.
Nunny Cohen's a pretty damn good player.
So
and
this is fun.
And you even have the middle mediocre guys stepping up. The guys at the lower end of the ladder stepping up.
Right. Last year, Joe Shalom won the finals. It was a rookie, and now he's back into this dance. He's not afraid. Sol Estes was the catalyst last night. Got on base a bunch of times. He could run.
You know, you got Soli Estes is one of those guys this year. I mean, he only was 16 years old last year. He took a step as a player.
Yeah, I still think he has to get better defensively and right. I think out of all their outfielders, Joe Shalom doesn't want to be in right. I don't even think Saul's dying to being right, but someone has to be that guy. So, but we're in the Final Four. They have athleticism. Say that again.
And they're motivated.
And, yeah, they're pumped, and they're a team at 1-5 that looked dead in the water, and now they're a team that's going against a one-team, one dream next week.
And they have already a week and a half layoff. Is that going to play any part in this game?
Right, I'm
one
not
team,
sure.
one dreams team. They were first place for a reason. They are the best team in the league.
They are.
However, a hot team, we always see the wild card team making noise against the number 1 seed. So it makes things, it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, and one team, one dream. I hope they don't get too cocky. They swept Titletown, and Yitzhak Sutton mowed them down. And Yitzhak's just 16. He might come in saying, I got these guys, good. I'm going to rock and roll. And they might, give him a rude awakening as a youngster.
Look at the one team, one dream. We'll jump to them right now. Stephen Gindy, captain, yet another first place squad.
God bless
Probably I was showing guys before, arguably his best regular season statistically he's ever put together.
That's why, because Stephen we know is a leader, and he knows how to bring teams that aren't the best talent-wise overall, but he makes them a team.
He
knows
maximizes
exactly.
every player on his roster.
So this year he has a really good team, but he himself playing on top of his game is tremendous.
Well, what's their squad? They have Joe S. waking up in the right time
That's
here
right.
in the playoffs.
He was scuffling early, but now he's hitting.
You know when you see Joe S. hit a 2-base sacrifice fly, you know he's going well when he's hitting those deep flyouts.
Right, and he's hitting that ball to right center field, the line drive with that sweepy swing when he's going on. He's got it.
And like you said, Yitzhak, 2-time Player of the Week winner this year for a reason. The kid's pitching great, and he's hitting great.
Right, so he started not hitting as well towards the end. Let's see what happens in the playoffs. Yitzhak Safdie in left field, I think he's the best going after the ball on a fly in the whole league.
Listen,
in the whole league.
What's the common theme with this squad? Their veterans are only 2 guys. They only have Joe S. and Steven. The rest a bunch of young kids.
And they're doing the job. They got a lot of talent. They picked a good team. So I'm not going to predict that yet. We'll get there at the end. Tonight, we're on the field. My son was just raking the field for tonight. We had a rainstorm in the morning, which is only going to bode well for the infield. Gabe Abadi with Carlos and company, with Edmund Beta on the mound, going up against Gucci Goo.
So, all year long, this Diamond Buster squad, they were only flirting with first place for 1 or 2 weeks. But to me, they were the most consistent upper echelon team from beginning till end. They have veterans across the diamond. You have Teddy playing the infield, playing a great third base.
Hopefully his neck is going to be okay.
I mean, he had time off. We know he did.
That's true. That's big.
Gabe playing a dynamite shortstop defensively. Who's their starting pitcher?
They have Edmund Beta.
Edmund Beta on the mound. Their team is just...
Carlos at night. Carlos Abadi is an offensive player at night.
They have a good team.
Yeah,
they have a really good team.
So I like this team. I said it in my prediction video that you put out before. I like it that they have players that are in game time shape right now. Yehuda Fallis. Oh my goodness.
Fallis. Let's stop for a second. Yehuda Fallis is a bona fide, flat out stud.
Yes,
this kid, and if he gets better, he's a first round pick.
He's a first round. By the way, and not only that, he could play all positions.
Plays the outfield well. He could pitch well.
And he plays the infield well.
I've never seen that, but I can imagine.
I was with him in a tournament, and when you put him on the infield, he could play third, short center, and he's got a bat. He's got a real bat.
I'm super impressed with Yehuda Fallis, and he only adds to that lineup. He wasn't even a guy they were relying on going into the season.
And their hottest hitter is a high round pick who goes through streaks, but right now he's in a zone. That's David Buka.
Yeah, Buka.
David Buka. Oh, man, he is playing.
Look at this team. I still think they're the odds-on favorite to win it all, even ahead of Titletown, even ahead of One Team, One Dream. So I think that kind of lends you into what I'm going to be choosing tonight.
Yeah, so Gucci team. Could the Gucci team win tonight? Could they give a battle? They will. The reason they will, Jimmy Malach, Ali Marshall, Michael Solomon, Soldi Safdie.
So now,
and the Hammer, who's having a real offense. They have
a good year.
Offensive bats.
Right, so their lineup is extremely deep, but their bugaboo the entire season was their lack of defense for the most part on the infield and even some nights in the outfield. So it's going to be tough pressed to win when you can't count on a routine ball. And I'm not saying tough plays, routine plays
like
not being made.
Yeah, Soli could be a good center fielder, but coming in, running on plays, once in a while is a play he should catch, and he's not. Ruby Sack has been the mainstay at short. He's been pretty good. But
He's
everybody
been their
else,
hype man also.
yeah, he has. But Jimmy Malach, who's usually much better defensively, earlier in his career, he had his woes defensively. Then he figured it out. I feel like this
He
year,
took a step back
yeah, he
defensively.
took a little bit of a step back. Offensively, probably the best hitter in the league.
And it's
but-
funny, you're looking at this team, usually you would think the question mark would be Allie Marshall on the mound. It's really unfair to put any blame on Allie because even in the games where Gucci lost and gave up double-digit runs, there was, I know there's errors in softball, but I'm talking routine balls to end innings, multiple
Hurts. That
occasions. It hurts you.
You know, and even when he's getting hit hard, when there's 2 or 3 balls that are dropped, eventually you're going to get, it's a softball. We're not playing Major League where the guys strike out. Balls are put in play. People are going to hit the balls hard. If you give them 5 outs in an inning, I don't care who you are, you're going to get hit hard. Now, Allie did have days where he got hit hard this
Yeah,
season.
that happens to every pitcher.
It does, but he did have days where his ball was moving and he pitched well.
Allie told me he's going to be Nay-B tonight. That's one of his words.
Yeah, he was very excited tonight. Offensively, Allie's been in his zone again since he got his new hips. Michael Solomon's going to have to come up and hit well. Edmund Beta is going to have his work cut out for
But
him.
you said it. Saban's going to do his job. Allie's probably going to do his job. Jimmy's going to do his job. They're all going to hit. That's not the problem. I think it's going to be 2 high-scoring games because
Could they win 8-6?
I don't
if they're
think
going to win, they could.
I mean, I think they have to win 10-8.
Maybe. Now, in the playoffs, it happens. Not often, but it happens. The Diamond Busters can win a 6-3 game. If Edmund Beta is going well, and they have enough bats, that's why I think they're a better balanced team. Gucci needs to play almost that beer league type of game in our minds. We don't see them winning a 4-3 battle.
No, they're not.
You know?
They're not built that way.
So
And it all comes down to the defense, and that I guess will lead us to our predictions right now. And it sounds like we already made them.
it's interesting. I'm more excited to watch tonight. There's going to be more of a chance of fireworks, and you know, I might even bring literal fireworks for fun. But this is going to be a lot of fun. It could really be.
I'll say it first. You said sweep from Diamond Busters. I'm going sweep Diamond Busters. It looks like, according to us at least, this is Gucci's last night in the field. But you know, as we say, predictions sure to go wrong. But that's that matchup.
Yeah, FYI, we were both wrong about last night.
Yes, we were.
We picked relax and we were off.
I feel like Eddie Niesim owes us a steak dinner for lighting a fire under his ass that wasn't there.
That's right. It could be true. Now, the Gucci team, we don't pick splits because that's the easy way out. So it could happen in split, but we don't pick them. Going to the other series, that's going to be next week. And then we're down to the final 2. But one team, one dream against Titletown.
Listen, there is some sort of rivalry between Sammy Estes and Stephen Gindy dating back over 15 years. And there is a lot of crossover players that, you know,
play on both sides.
Friends,
Yeah,
et
Melech
cetera.
was on Stephen Gindy's team last year, too.
yeah.
So I think it's going to be a gentleman battle, that game.
That for sure. It ain't going
that'll
to
be
be
fun.
bad, but
But it could be, I even think tonight's game, Gucci and Diamond Busters, even though there's a lot of personalities, I don't think there's bad blood. Could be a lot of loud screaming and laughing after innings. We do have Troy here tonight.
Good.
And he's bringing his gun. But,
Good.
But I do think the matchups aren't like, oh, we're afraid there's going to be an ejection of some sort.
no. Listen, Titletown, I feel like,
If there's an ejection, it's within their own teams.
right, as we've seen
Yeah,
earlier
Jimmy
this year.
might throw Michael off a cliff, and on Diamond Busters, we already saw punches thrown within the same team.
Craziness.
So, yeah.
Listen,
So,
I just see, Titletown's on a hot little run right now. Titletown is, riding high right now, but I think it reached midnight and they're turning back to a pumpkin, and the
so.
better team is just going to advance. And my prediction for the World Series, as we are hearing right now, is going to be the top 2 teams. It's going to be Diamond Busters taking on one team, one dream, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
interesting. So, I'm obviously a little bit biased. I'm going to be rooting for one team, one dream a little bit inside my gut.
As you should.
I like good games. Even with my children on the field, I like good close battles because that's why we play. But my son is on the mound, and my other son who won last year is already knocked out. So I do like their team, not just because my son's on the team, but I do think, and I just said, I don't pick splits, but I do think if they win, it's going to be in 3.
Okay.
It's a prediction. Tonight we're picking a sweep, But overall, that other game's
Again,
coming in the
I'm
future.
not even predicting sweep or 2 out of 3 for that series. I just think Titletown isn't good enough to win 2
Yeah.
out of 3 versus that team.
Now, if there is a collision course to Stephen Gindy's team against Gabe Abadi, that could be some interesting, because the last time they played each other, Stephen Gindy and the and One Team One Dream and the Diamond Busters were not seeing eye to eye at the end.
Not at all.
2 great games, but it was it was not it was not perfect.
Listen, if things shake out in a certain way, we potentially only have 3 more nights with all postseason. I mean,
Right,
it could
if this
always
week's-
extend to more than that. However, we're down the stretch right now.
August 30th, we're still in August, but September is tomorrow.
Yep. So it's an all-encompassing show we just did right now. I'm pretty sure we recapped every
lot.
squad, all the teams, and coming up next, stay tuned. We will be announcing the ballots for all the Gold Gloves for this coming up year, and this year's different. This year there will be rings that have Gold Gloves on the rings. You'll be awarded a ring, and we also did not forget about last year.
Yes, we're going to make a separate show with last year's award winners. We did want to have a dinner.
That's the reason why we didn't end up doing
We never
anything.
did
It just didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Be'ezrat Hashem, this year we do plan, and we have to do it. We want to do it. A dinner for the 2023 champs, and we'll of
Make a
course
Gold
talk
Glove
about
in there as
Gold
well,
Gloves,
and
we'll bring it up.
we'll
Yeah.
make it an award show.
Yes, but we're going to make an award show for last year's. We're going to announce that shortly, and can't wait. This is a fun time of year. Looking
Let's
forward.
go. M&S baseball, baby, at its finest. Let's go.
Good luck to all of you out there. May the best team win.